and welcome back to Charmed Rewind! December edition. It's holidays.
Sure, yeah.
It's the great holiday of the Headless Horseman. You know, he's always associated with Christmas.
Yeah, holiday headless.
So yeah, Headless Horseman. That's because we are going to talk about Season 6, Episode 14, The Legend of Sleepy Halliwell.
That's real good.
Good stuff.
Unlike this episode. Yikes.
Yeah, we're in Season 6. We're in the middle of a great annoyance in Charmed.
They suck so much in this episode.
They really suck. Phoebe is at probably her worst is Season 6. They're using the empath stuff a little bit. I think that's the worst part is when she just complains about everyone. But yeah, so we're in the middle of the stuff with Chris, who has time traveled back. They don't know that he's Piper's son yet, but that's to be found out in this episode. This is also the introduction of the Harry Potter Magic School and Gideon and all of that plot. I think Piper and Leo are not together yet, but they're trying to get them back together. There's also the Richard plot with Paige, her magic addict boyfriend.
Which just annoys Phoebe and Piper.
Ugh. That's just an inconvenience.
Mm-hmm. That's not my problem. Why are you bringing it up?
So I think that covers the plots going on this season so far. You want to get into it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the first shot is some babies.
Let's not get into it.
Let's not get into this. So they're at a daycare / preschool. I guess it's a daycare. It wouldn't be preschool yet, right?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's some kind of elite baby thing.
It's some sort of baby security center to keep them contained. So all of the babies are having fun and playing with their moms or other babies, except for Wyatt. He is sitting alone and terrified because his horrible mother is staring at him from a distance. Notice not all these kids are playing with other kids. Some of them are playing with their mom. He could be playing with his mom, but instead she's sitting there like, you stupid baby, play with other kids.
Unhinges her jaw.
So her thing this episode, she is worried that he is being antisocial, that he's not getting along with other kids. She also states that he is not even a year old yet, so I don't think you need to be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's also a trivia on this, like, actually, it's not until like 2 or 3 where they start playing with other kids, so I don't think he's behind it all.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other moms there is being kind of bitchy. Well, she's telling Piper that she's way behind signing Wyatt up for this sort of thing. And Piper's like, well, yeah, he's not that old. And she's like, oh, you can tell he's not that social. He doesn't have any siblings, right? And then Piper, who is suspiciously being filmed from the neck up, says no. No siblings. None in the future, I don't think.
She very conveniently gets out of having most of her body shown in a lot of this episode.
Yeah, you think that's the reason they wrote this episode is so that they could, like, cut her head off and then not have to worry about hiding her pregnant belly?
I'm sure that's why she's the first one that has her head cut off, yep.
So, this is when Paige and Phoebe arrive. They are both in confusingly draped shirts for different reasons. So Phoebe's got this, like, halter top with a weird ruffle down the front. It's kind of common for the 2000s, but really ugly. And Paige has got some sort of, like, it's like a coat that I think has a scarf attached to it or something, but when it's wrapped around, it kind of makes it look like it's backwards. It's a little strange. So Piper wants them there because stupid Leo can't be around to show family support. And they're like, well, Leo's around all the time. And then she's like, he can't be around for the school. And I'm not sure why he can't be around for the school. Because he's an elder? Is that why? I think he's an elder at the moment.
I don't know.
I'm not sure why she thinks he can't be there because he's there at other times. So why wouldn't he be? And then Piper bitches at Paige for taking a call because she's trying to get a hold of her boyfriend, Richard.
Yeah.
So at this point, she's worried about Richard because he's a magic addict. And so he's relapsed a few times. So she's worried about him. But Piper's annoyed at this. Like, she's like, hey, you've been trying to get a hold of him for 2 days. Give it a rest.
Yeah.
He's been gone for 2 days, not concerned about that.
No.
Give it a rest.
Phoebe says, like, hey, just let him die.
Just let him die. I don't see what this has to do with me.
Yeah.
If you don't let him die, then I'm going to have to worry about it. No. And that's being really selfish.
I'm thinking about biological clocks. I just don't have time to deal with you right now.
This whole storyline with her in this episode sets up her gotta have her baby pop storyline, where she's just focusing on she's gotta have a baby, even though she has a vision of when she has a baby, and the kids are noticeably older, so I don't know why she's like, instantly, I gotta make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this sets up the whole thing, and she's talking about biological clocks before that even happens in this vision quest that she has later, so she's just being annoying about it already. Pre-annoying annoyance. Paige is like, yeah, well, I'm worried about my addict boyfriend. And Phoebe's like, well, maybe he just wants time alone. And then Paige apologizes for talking about her boyfriend because Phoebe just broke up with her boyfriend, the newspaper sugar daddy, Jason, who she cheated on.
Just shut up, Phoebe.
You can't talk about your boyfriend in front of Phoebe, who ruined her own relationship.
Yeah, I really feel bad for you, Phoebe.
She lost her newspaper sugar daddy.
Shut up.
And I think they did leave it open, like maybe they would get back together, but you never see him again. So Phoebe's like, yeah, we can't cry over spilled milk at my age. She's got to get a move on and have a baby because of her biological clock. She's like, I'm getting too old. I need to have a baby. Piper's like, time to talk about me now. She's like, I'm a rotten mom because Wyatt isn't very social. Stupid, less than a year old idiot.
They all agree she's a rotten mom.
She's a rotten mom. At least she is aware of that fact. So Piper's like, yeah, it's really sad that Wyatt's all alone. He doesn't have any siblings. And Paige is like, well, I didn't have any siblings. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't know you had any powers, so it was safe for you to have friends. Despite the fact they, too, did not know they had powers until the pilot of this show. So what is she talking about?
I don't know. No.
Why would it make it safer? They were in a magical family.
Yeah. And it's only her fault that stupid babies are running around with powers they don't understand.
Yeah, she goes on and on about she wants Wyatt to have a normal, magic-free life, but she won't bind his powers. It's so stupid.
Well, what do you know? It's not every day you see the stupidest thing you've ever seen.
Well, speaking of which, Wyatt then orbs out. He goes to the house, and I guess no one...
Luckily for them.
Yeah, I guess no one saw that. And yeah, luckily he went to the house, but no one in this daycare saw that. I guess because he's a loser off by himself.
How long did they have to kind of skirt around before they could orb out?
I don't know. They could have stepped outside. I mean,
Yeah, but it's just kind of funny because they can't immediately run to help their baby that doesn't know what it's doing because they have to try and duck around people.
They could step outside real quick. I think people wouldn't think that much of it.
Yeah, but it still takes a little bit of time. I'm just saying they should immediately go because they don't know where the baby just orbed to.
Well, even if they immediately orbed out, they got to know where he went. It's
just a reason why the baby shouldn't have powers.
Well, yeah, he's stupid. But luckily he went to the house. Luckily they know he went to the house, so they go over there. And that's when a mysterious door appears on the stairway. And Phoebe declares, this is not good! They don't know what it is yet. And I guess it's not inherently bad. Something bad happens with it, but this is the door to the magic school, yes. So immediately they're like, ah!
A door! Ah!
Oh no, a door! Yeah, nothing had happened yet. A door! So the door flies open, and this is when a guy in Harry Potter wizard robes rushes inside and is immediately decapitated by the Headless Horseman.
And, of course, the Charmed Ones act in utter horror. They're so worried about this guy. No, they act annoyed that this is happening at all.
They're just annoyed.
They spit on the head, kick it around for a bit. They pretty much act like this is just annoying to them, even though they just... They're supposedly the heroes. They should care about people. Nah, let's make them the worst ever.
Yeah, Piper even highlights how this whole decapitation is just an inconvenience and all the reasons why it's an inconvenience to them.
She just has to worry about baby school. She can't deal with this.
I love this is very TV-friendly decapitations, too. Like, it's all very clean.
Very clean, yeah.
You don't see any neck stumps or anything. There's no blood. But that's all part of magic school?
Yeah, sure. This guy didn't die, too, because his body fell back into magic school.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's magic school, so you can't die there. And it's like, I'm fairly certain people die in magic school later. I don't think there's magical protections, but I don't think it's a keep you alive spell after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy comes inside, he's immediately decapitated, the door slams shut again, and then Piper turns into Krusty the Clown. What the hell was that? But the guy's head is on the stairs, still alive, so he helpfully explains that was the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, shut up!
Then we get the opening credits, and then sped up action stock footage of the city, like, yeah, you ready to rock?
Whoa, not really.
Back at the house, Piper moves a vase so that Phoebe can set the man's head on the table. And he says that they're very kind. Not true.
What?
You're very kind. They've done nothing but belittle you and will continue to do so.
They start referring to his head as a thing, like an object. Later.
Yeah, they start making a bunch of jokes. Actually, he's an inconvenience. This guy's name is Sigmund, by the way. He's one of the teachers at the school. I believe he's in some other episodes as sort of a...
lackey of Gideon.
He's a lackey of Gideon's, yeah. And I think he dies at some point. I don't remember how, but... He explains that he's still alive because the rest of him is in magic school. So that's what's keeping him alive. This is the girls' introduction to the knockoff Harry Potter magic school. They're really trying to make this a thing and make it seem like it's really like epic and cool, but they have like no budget at this point, and it's also a lame Harry Potter knockoff.
Here, though, it's interesting here because they try to give it a bit of mystique and some weird things going on, but then you see that quickly kind of disappear. It turns into 2 rooms before they can't even have anyone in the cast care about it, so they just let it fall over to Margoyle.
It's hilarious how much of this is about like protecting the next generation and protecting the school, and then like smash cut to later when there's just cobwebs and moths flying around and demons took over the school because nobody cared.
It's the same 2 rooms you've been seeing for a long time, but now it's in disrepair.
Yeah, they show this like endless hallway too that's never seen again. I don't remember them ever seeing that. And there's all these like different students with different types of magic that you never see again. It's always just Harry Potter wizard robe. But in this episode, you see like there's a shaman in there. There's like conjurers and telepaths and all these different types of things. And then like later, it's just people in Harry Potter robes going like, naked woman! Yeah. Like, that's it. There's a bunch of kids in these classes you don't ever see again.
No.
Naked woman!
So, Paige orbs in with Leo, who knows Sigmund, and Piper demands they have a group chat. She's like, people with legs, next room! So she says, she's like, this severed head is keeping us from all a bunch of stuff. She's keeping our son from developing social skills. And then Paige is like, well, it's keeping me from helping Richard. And then Phoebe says, it's keeping me from helping me. They're all talking about from helping me. That's really what she says.
Yeah.
And this is Phoebe through the whole episode. She's like, I'm gonna fuck off. I don't care about anyone else. Fuck you.
I need to deal with me problems.
Yeah,
feed me.
Her whole story, too, is about focusing on herself more as well. So, really cool stuff.
Yeah, can't stand her.
Do you think these separate storylines also stemmed from the fact that nobody else could stand Alyssa Milano? They're like, just give her own thing so we don't have to work with her that much.
Maybe.
Like, not only is it like Alyssa Milano like, just make it about me, but then it's just like, oh, we don't want to talk to each other or hang out.
You can hang out in the other room by yourself and focus on yourself then.
I don't know. This happens on a lot of shows. I feel like you can tell they start having separate storylines more because the actors cannot get along.
Yeah.
This happened with New Charm too.
New Charm, yeah.
New Charmed immediately. They're like, nah, let's just have them all do their own thing.
Well, the show is supposedly about the sisterly bond, and just immediately the actors hate each other.
They keep casting people that really should not be working together. So anyway, Piper is bitching. She says, "We can't stop our lives every time someone's head comes rolling down the stairs." So mean.
They suck. They suck so much. Why is this how you write your main characters?
They're terrible.
Let's have them be not endearing in the slightest.
So, this is when Leo explains magic school to them. And he's like, yeah, well, Wyatt was drawn to the door because he's supposed to go to magic school. And, it's a place where we can make the next generation learn about magic. It's really great. And it's like, why didn't he ever bring this up before, especially when they met other kids with powers where there were problems? Like, you could have been like, hey, there's a school for that. Mm-hmm. But they hadn't written in the Harry Potter knockoff school yet.
Yeah.
So Leo just seems like a dum-dum.
Yeah. Why haven't you mentioned him? He wasn't written in.
It's not even that it's like a thing he kind of knew about but doesn't think about. Like, his mentor, Gideon, works there. It's like important to him, but he just never brought it up.
I forgot.
Oh, well.
So stupid.
So Phoebe's like, all right, let's just help the magic school so we can get the stupid severed head out of here. And then she makes fun of the severed head. Like, she's like, he's like a centerpiece or something. She's like referring to him like just like an object, like not even a person.
It's, like, you can have people, like, there's a way to make things where they make like flippant remarks kind of funny or something, but the way they do it on Charm, they just come off like assholes.
Yeah. So Leo's like, well, I'll get Chris to watch Wyatt. And then Piper is like, no, don't do that, because she only trusts Chris when it's belittling Leo's struggles. But when it's about, she's like, no, don't get Chris to watch it. I don't trust him now. It's only when you're like, hey, that guy sent me to Valhalla, that I'm like, you're being a little irrational. Leo's like, no, I think he deserves another chance. Chris is great, because if they keep him a villain, it's going to ruin the reveal about him being Piper's son at the end. Yeah. So they got to do a quick turnaround on this storyline. So into magic school they go. They find that guy's body and step over it. Hilarious. Even the guy, they brought the guy's head in, like a Sigmund in a bag. And and he's like, yeah, just walk away. Someone will collect my body later. Classic Sigmund the sea monster here. So here's where we get a great view of their amazing Harry Potter magic school. They show this long hallway. There's like a badly green screen girl floating, reading a book. And they're like, pretty cool, huh? It's not. So they're looking for Gideon. They explain that he's an elder, Leo's old mentor, who he's never mentioned until now because he wasn't written in. But it's going to make it a lot more dramatic when Leo kills him at the end of the season, so we need to set that up. He says that Gideon was one of the elders that fought for him and Piper to be able to get married and break the rules. And then Piper reacts with mild disgust.
Why?
I hate that.
Yeah, for some reason.
He's on our side. I hate that. Kill him.
All right, then, Piper.
So Phoebe sees a wolf that nobody else can see. This is setting up her story for the episode. And Sigmund, in his bag, he explains that everyone at magic school sees different things. They see what they're meant to see. This isn't something that's ever brought up again. Why would that be a thing?
What was Marigoyle meant to see?
He saw the smokes everywhere. The fuck is this?
Oh, my biological smoke clock is ticking.
This doesn't even make sense. Everyone sees what they're meant to see, because she's seeing this because of this shaman lady and this mystical vision quest that she goes on. It doesn't really have to do with the school, and nobody else sees other things. Yeah. Like, they're sort of led in a direction by Gideon talking cryptically about stuff, but it's not really to do with the school or anything. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's when the girl floats by on the green screen. It looks really bad. And then Sigmund is like, we're almost at the Great Hall. That's nothing like Harry Potter's Great Hall. It's different. This is witch school. They never call it anything, or magic school. I think it's just magic school. Like, they don't even have any other name but magic school.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come up with an actual name.
Halliwarts.
Halliwarts? I gotta call the episode of the podcast. So, they get to the Great Hall, and then they meet Gideon, who's wearing an invisibility cloak. Shield.
Shield.
Your invisibility shield's up. Why is he doing that? Because I don't know. In Harry Potter, they had an invisibility cloak. So
Snape wouldn't find him.
Yeah. He reveals that he met the Charmed Ones when they were little girls. And he knew their grams. I'm not sure this ever comes into play later, but he just knew them.
Yeah,
and they forgot.
Piper goes, unhinges her jaw.
Starts eating Sigmund's head, and they're like, hey!
No, bad!
Spray. So Gideon is explaining the situation. He's like, someone summoned the Headless Horseman. It's targeting teachers. We think someone's trying to shut down the school, and I guess you gotta investigate this, even though I'm perfectly capable of doing that myself. You have to do it.
You do it.
So he's like, well, it's gotta be someone pretty evil to shut down the school and thwart the next generation. Smash cut to when the girls abandon the school and the demons take over.
Yeah. Or the time they almost threw the Book of Shadows in the garbage.
Yeah. Someone pretty evil to do that.
We'll teach the next generation. Good thing we didn't throw this out.
It's even funnier when you realize later in the episode the threat to the school shutting down is Gideon. It's just a stupid rule he made up. He's like, I made a promise to myself if something from the school ever harmed someone, then I was going to shut it down. I guess cutting off people's heads didn't harm them, but once it got to the real world, then he's like, I'm going to shut the school down. It's like, well, you could just not shut the school down. That would probably not thwart the next generation if you didn't, over every little inconvenience.
No.
But anyway, the girls have to investigate to find out who summoned the horsemen. While they're there, they can also find the answers they seek for their separate storylines. Gideon talks cryptically about it. He's really annoying about it, honestly. Like, he's like, but I have to da-da-da. Later, I feel like he talks more normal, but here he's got to speechify everything.
He's strange in this one, yeah.
Because he's trying to be Dumbledore, basically. So he's like, hey, Paige, you can find what you're looking for if you teach, so you're going to be a teach today. He's setting up all of those cool things that Phoebe's going to see in her vision later that won't come to pass or will be forgotten pretty quickly. Paige is in the hallway. She's bitching about Gideon, calling him Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's with another teacher in the robes. She's being led to this class of struggling inner-city youths. She's got to teach them both magic and life. It's every, cliche you see in one of these things. Like, they're even like, what's the matter, teach?
Yeah, and you hear one of them cocking their wand.
One of them pregnant over there. So they got a bit of an attitude. This is setting up that she has a knack for teaching and this great magic school teaching plot that she does that's going to last forever. That
she hands the keys over to Margoyle.
I love too, they set this whole thing up that she's going to be headmaster of magic school. And before that even happens, she's like, hey, Leo, you take over. Or even she didn't even do that. The other two are like, Leo, you take over. And she's like, okay, bye. That was the end of that for her.
I'm in need of a guilt remover spell.
So, meanwhile, Phoebe is following that wolf so she can go on this vision quest. You know immediately it's going to be a vision quest because there's a wolf, and then she gets led into a cave, and then some indigenous music starts playing, and you're like, oh, vision quest.
Yeah.
So there's this shaman lady there, and some flute music playing, and a bunch of pottery and stuff.
And then she strangles Phoebe to death, and the world rejoices.
Yeah. So this shaman lady, it's one of the students, she's like, well, you got the premonition power, and it's kind of sucked lately, so how about I help you focus on that better? Because we want the visions to work differently now so they can be more focused on your love life. What do you think? Meanwhile, Piper and Leo are at the baby nursery. Who cares?
Yeah.
Piper is like, I don't want Wyatt to be here because he's going to be surrounded by all the other freaks. That's what she says. He's going to be surrounded by all the other freaks. What a great mom.
I want him to have a normal life. I don't want him to be around freaks, so he can be the only freak, okay? He'll kill himself with the dragon again. I don't care.
This is when the teacher in charge of all the kids in the nursery, she comes in and she's like, hey, just so you know, all these kids could easily be turned evil, so you should watch out for that Nickelback thing later. She goes in like, oh yeah, they could be turned evil pretty quick. Better watch out for that. Oh, are you worried about your kid?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be evil.
So that's when the Harry Potter Magic School alarm goes off. Was that ever a thing later? Like, red alert?
Yeah, I think they should have kept that. Red alert, Margoyle.
Plumber alert.
Margoyle alert.
So everyone is like, run into the Great Hall! And then Piper gets her head cut off.
She goes, now I can hide that I'm pregnant.
Yeah, she's the one they want to hide the body of the most, so she gets her head cut off. How does this fit into the teachers being targeted thing? It doesn't.
No.
And it's not like this is some, like, twist, like, oh, maybe it's not the teachers. No, the teachers were being targeted, just she got her head cut off because they wanted to hide that Holly Marie Combs is pregnant.
Yeah.
Piper's head complains. That's through most of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So at the manor, Paige and Leo have Piper's head. They place her on a tall dresser that Holly Marie Combs can stand inside. It's so funny seeing all the set pieces that they've made with little cutouts for the heads.
Yeah.
There's like a photo of later when all of them have their heads cut off and they're on top of a desk and you can see the little squares around them where the set lifts up so they can put their head inside it. So, Paige suspects that whoever did it is someone in her class. I forget what her logic is. She is correct, but I guess it's because it's the only class that they show ever.
Yeah. So it's very convenient for everyone that it's in her class.
Yeah. And she's like, all right, so we're going to bring them to the house until we figure out who did this, so they can't summon the Headless Horseman there. I don't know why she thinks they can't, because, spoiler alert, it gets summoned there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
one of them
everyone
just leaves
could
the door
die. Yeah.
Apparently he doesn't know how to open doors, but if you leave the door open from magic school, he gets to the real world. Well, he doesn't have a head, so you can't blame him for not
got hands.
But, you know, he can't see the door, though. He can cut off heads pretty good, but doors is really his downfall.
He's good at head. Like, he's not the handless horseman.
Remember in the Sleepy Hollow show when they made, like, sexy Headless Horseman? He's, like, walking around shirtless, like, hey.
And then they went inside and like, they shut the door.
Shut the door. So, Piper just remembers that Phoebe is still at the school, like,
Ow! Phoebe! Maybe we should go get her.
Leo's like, all right, I'll go get her. And then Piper's like,
No, send Chris. He's more expendable.
So they go to get Chris, who is watching Wyatt, just like she didn't want. So Leo and Paige, they go into Wyatt's room. Chris is there with a demon who's sending some, like, beams at baby Wyatt. This looks kind of bad, and they kick him out. Spoiler alert, it is bad. He's not really that justified in what he was doing there.
Does he know this demon?
He's just a fucking idiot is the thing. He's trying to prevent
your demon to come in and do evil checks.
Yeah, he's basically doing an evil scan on him because he's trying to prevent him from becoming evil. Chris is a fucking idiot. You don't understand. I needed him to do an evil scan. You stupid dipshit. So anyway, they've kicked him out, and Leo puts on his big daddy pants. He's like, get out!
Yeah, suddenly has a backbone for a second.
And then, Leo! Piddles underneath him. So, meanwhile, Phoebe and her annoying fucking storyline, she's talking to the shaman student about her favorite subject, herself. So, this shaman girl is like, hey, drink some stuff and take a vision quest. And Phoebe's like, no. But then the shaman is like, biological clock. And she's like, oh, drink time. We have to do it. That means biological clock.
She just chugs it all. Butt chug it.
I have to create pointless drama with a vision that means nothing. So she goes into her vision quest. She sees the future. A demon breaks a vase.
And goes, "You gonna pick that up with your chicken?"
It all meant something. Demon breaks a vase, and she's back. Wow, great vision quest.
She goes, "I get hurt during it." She's like, "Yeah, that can happen, dummy."
Yeah. It's weird. She chugs this vision potion or whatever, and then Paige interrupts, and it doesn't affect her anymore till she takes more later.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so Paige is interrupted. She casually mentions that Piper's head got cut off.
Phoebe's interrupted.
No, Paige interrupts her.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's not interrupted. She's interrupting.
Paige interrupts the vision quest to casually mention that Piper's head got cut off. Phoebe's like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to stay here and do me stuff." She finds out that Piper's head is cut off, and she's like, "No, I have to stay here and focus on me."
I think I'm going to stay here. But you know where I am if you need me. That's what just happened.
She did need her, except now.
It's like, "Hey, Piper's head is cut off, you moron."
Yeah.
I kind of need the help right now.
Paige is astounded that she's like, "Hey, I'm going to do me stuff and not help out." And then Phoebe's like, "No, it's okay. I'll be okay."
Yeah, don't worry.
She wasn't worried about you, bitch. I'll be okay. Shut up.
Okay.
So anyway, she's going to stay and do her own thing at the
I'm
manor.
going to sit around here and chug this stupid shut up juice.
So at the manor, Paige brings in her students. The nerdiest one is excited to be in the Halliwell manor,
Yeah.
just like in the text.
Whoa, it's just as boring as they said.
It's never made sense to me that they've put them in textbooks, even like during the show, because it doesn't seem like long enough. But even then, it's like, so if they know all about the manor and all about their lives, what's stopping like a bad warlock or student turned bad or a demon or anything from finding them?
Yeah, what are they reading about? It's like, oh wow, they complain a lot and so they don't want to do anything.
They hold the magical Guinness World Record for lack of innocence saved.
Yeah. Oh, look at this one. They saved someone, but they complained a lot, and then they died the next episode.
Brilliant. You know what? All they do is complain, get their heads cut off, and say a makes it easy spell. That's literally their contribution to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The nerdy kid sees Piper's head and says, "It's Piper Halliwell!"
Whoa.
I love that he says,
He goes, "Can I
Halliwell
get your autograph?"
And have a fucking party, bitch.
Oh! One of the kids is like, "Oh, but it's only part of her, not the good part."
Naked woman!
Naked woman! Stupid pervy students.
He goes to see a naked pregnant woman. He's got a fetish.
Why do they keep having students or student aides have romantic relationships or like flirting with the teachers or the older the Halliwells, the Halliwells? Because there was one where like Paige is like making out with like a student aide or something, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Like he's not supposed to be a student, but this is something. So anyway, the students argue with each other. Chris shows up and leads Paige into the kitchen. And he's like, sorry about what happened before. I need your help. I'm running out of time. Here's why I brought this demon in to scan Wyatt for evil. It's cool. This might also help us find out who turned Wyatt evil. And then Paige is like, you're not making any sense. He's just describing the thing he said he came here for 1,000,000 times this season. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. You want to find out who turned Wyatt evil? Huh? Huh?
You want to know why you were evil earlier on?
Why you killed people and seemed to have a plan with the people, the Valkyries or whatever?
Yeah, Leo to Valhalla.
Yeah, why did you do any of that stuff?
Because I wanted to keep mom and dad together. Well, that was a dumb way to do it, wasn't it?
You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yep. He says, look, I need you to trust me, and I need you to get the others to trust me, despite the fact he's done nothing trustworthy nor helpful his entire run. He's still like, I just need to find out what happened, and I'm just gonna have, I don't know, a demon do an evil scan. It's not like he has a grand plan he needs their help with. Yeah. He's just, like, dinking around like the rest of them, not knowing what to do.
Oh yeah, you don't want to trust me?
This scene is interrupted by the Headless Horseman, who is coming because someone left the door open. He wrecks some stuff and leaves. Does not manage to get anyone else's heads.
No.
He's kind of fumbled it on that one.
They didn't want to have them responsible for a kid's head getting cut off, so he misses.
He needs to go cut off the head of some criminal somewhere, so it's okay.
That's okay. He was a murderer or something.
Or something. I don't know. We got very little backstory. So Gideon wanders on in to speechify everything, and he's like, Paige, you go stop the horseman. Why? I don't know. He gives this inspirational speech, and then they go together, and he's the one that ends up capturing the horseman.
He goes, so, I'll help you, as in I will do the whole thing.
Yeah, Paige doesn't do anything. He also comes in to remind her and the audience that cutting off people's heads in the real world is usually deadly. Yeah, usually doesn't have a good result. So Piper is annoyed with one of the students and threatens to turn him into a toad.
Mm-hmm.
She does later. It's funny.
It's like, what was that movie Mystery Science Theater did with the woman's head on the tray? That's like Piper.
The head that wouldn't die?
Yeah.
Was it the head that, or the brain that wouldn't die? No, I think it was the head. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, the head that wouldn't die. Yeah. Jan in the pan.
Yeah, that's Piper. Piper in the pan.
Piper in the pan. Well, the horseman's on the loose. Luckily, the first person that he goes after is a robber who's, like, shooting at someone down an alley, so you gotta kind of gather that he's a bad guy. So it's okay that his head is cut off. They don't save him.
It's fine, yeah.
He's dead.
I think Paige shows in, and I think he's a murderer or something.
Yeah. Paige and Gideon show up, and then Gideon makes the door to magic school appear, and the horseman just kind of runs into it like an idiot. So Paige didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Gideon's like, the death of an innocent means the death of magic school. Was that guy an innocent? They seem to indicate he's not.
Yeah.
Not that he deserved to get his head cut off. I mean, I guess if he murdered some people, maybe he deserved to get his head cut off.
We don't know the extent of his crimes, I guess.
Yeah, like Paige says he was a murderer, but how does she know that?
Yeah.
They were just there for 2 seconds.
He's like, I'm pretty sure he was the next Hitler.
Yeah, it's fine. He was magical Hitler. What? So at the manor, Paige is wondering why this guy was targeted, and not because he wasn't a teacher or anything, but at least he was a killer, so it's fine. They don't get back to why he was targeted, so it's not really fine either that his head was cut off, but like, why was he targeted? The Headless
Teacher,
Horseman,
random killer.
Apparently, whoever summoned the Headless Horseman could make the horseman kill whoever they wanted. They don't really say that, but it seems to be because he's only targeting teachers, except for a couple exceptions.
Except
that
when it's random.
When it's random, so it doesn't really make sense. Gideon's like, no, it's too late. I made a promise that if the magic from the Harry Potter magic school harmed anyone, I'm going to shut the whole place down. And apparently I typoed that to say he'd shit the whole place down.
Shit the whole place.
That's pretty different. I'm shitting it all down. Shitting it all down.
He shit the whole place down.
He shit it down, and then he used that in his acting reel, and that's how he got the job on Whodunit.
Yeah. Whodunit, the Headless Horseman.
Yeah. So Paige is like, no, we'll shut the school down later. It's fine. You don't need to shut it down now.
Where we get Headmaster Mark Oil in here.
Yeah. I think he's good. He seems fine. Yeah.
Keep me the s'mores.
Yeah, I think he cares about the kids in the school. Leave him in charge. It's fine. We'll make him headmaster. Headmaster Margoyle.
There he is, hunting around the mushrooms.
Also, Piper turned that kid into a toad. Cue laugh track. Paige leads Gideon into the kitchen, and then she yells for Leo. Leo!
Got some scolding to get.
Yeah, she wanted backup to fight for that school that they ignore later. The two of us care, sort of.
Maybe.
Gideon is annoyed into keeping the school open. Fine.
Tell him, Leo. You just don't want him.
I guess we should keep the school open.
Shut up!
In the next room, someone steals Piper's head. Dun, dun, dun.
Who could have done it? Everyone's a suspect.
He said, hey, Piper, how's your head?
I got no complaints yet.
But anyway, the most important thing, Phoebe's vision quest.
Shut up.
Phoebe is bitching. She's like, oh, my whole life is about sacrifice. You don't sacrifice anything. You didn't even sacrifice your time to go help your sister in this episode.
Yeah. You couldn't even be bothered to care about Paige's with O. Henry.
No, it was Richard.
Oh, Richard.
Henry's the cop that's later.
Right. Wrong boyfriend.
So yeah, she goes back to the future because she was called Chicken and no one calls her Chicken.
Who is a big thing that wasn't in the first movie. Oh.
So anyway, she sees Wyatt, who's a little older, and he's playing with what looks like a Game Boy Advance, but unclear.
Yeah,
probably out of date by the time he gets to whatever age he's at.
Looks like he's got like a regular Game Boy game jammed in it or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but like whatever he's playing would. I mean, he's like what 7 or 8, something.
Right, and this is in the future.
Yeah, this is the future. Well, maybe it's a hand-me-down. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's playing
some retro games, right?
Yeah. He's got a little brother with him, and this is their reveal that he has a little brother. And then we know that this is Chris. It's revealed later that it's Chris. What a big surprise. Also, Paige shows up. She's the head of magic school. That doesn't even happen. She leaves before she even makes it that far. It's also revealed that Phoebe is pregnant. Pregnant.
Whoa.
Pregnant. She used a Luigi board.
Luigi board.
Yeah, she reveals that she's pregnant. We don't ever see her pregnant on the show. I suppose by the time this happened, she could be pregnant. I guess in the last episode, it's revealed that they have like an army of kids. So somewhere in there, she had kids.
She doesn't look like she does at this point, though. By the time she's pregnant. Yeah, they have a fake pregnant belly on Alyssa Milano, and she lifts it up, and there's this weird bulge on the side where I think it's kind of coming out of her pants. Otherwise, it's not bad, but HD's not really been that kind to it. Just falls off.
But this is Phoebe's excuse to just keep talking about how she needs to get pregnant constantly and find a man and blah, 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 and her biological clock's ticking. She knows how far in the future this happens. She doesn't need to rush this, but she does anyway, because she's a selfish asshole. But it's so funny, everything that she sees in this vision. It's not really what comes to pass, because we know, like, Paige doesn't become headmaster of magic school, or if she does, it's barely any. I think she's just a teacher, though. But whatever it is, she leaves. Yeah. She doesn't make it to that future.
No.
Whatever. And if we go by the comics, she had amnesia by then, so. So anyway, Chris comes to get her out of the vision quest. That's when she realizes that he is Wyatt's little brother. Phoebe is not concerned with that right now. She's like, I saw a life without demons. Did she? What part of that told her there's no demons in that life?
She saw like a minute.
Before she walked into that vision, she was being constantly attacked by a demon that she ignored, the one that broke the vase. So that didn't seem like a demon-free life.
No demons ever. Like,
how would you know that? Because nothing in that vision indicated there were demons or not.
Mm-hmm. You have plenty of times where you're just hanging out at the house. In fact, that's a lot of the show.
Yeah. So she is back in the cave, and the shaman student, she's like, embrace your powers again. And she's like, cool, I will use this to continually focus on my dating life.
And the shaman goes, I've made a huge mistake.
You will never see me again.
I was so important. Who am I?
I don't know. So at the manor, Phoebe and Krause show up. Phoebe's done with her thing, so she can come now. You can come get me whenever you need me, when I'm done. So they're briefed on the situation. Phoebe goes over to the students. They're all frozen in place because the person who summoned the Headless Horseman has frozen them and is pretending to be frozen along with them. She uses her empath powers, and maybe the only time it was ever useful, to figure out that the person behind all of this was Zachary.
He's a Lego maniac.
Stupid Zachary. They make it seem like he's been possessed or taken over by someone else, but then later they drop that. It's just Zachary.
Yeah.
Right? Because they do indicate that he's being controlled by someone, and then he's not.
No. He's just mad Gideon didn't give him attention.
Yeah, he's mad because he didn't want to go to magic school. That's it.
Yeah.
So, Zach pieces out. They go to magic school for some reason. I forget. I guess they think he's going back there. Paige and Phoebe get their heads cut off immediately.
I think they were looking for Piper's head or something.
Yeah, but I don't know why they...
I don't know.
There's some
it's
indication
the other
or something.
set they have.
Yeah. They get their heads cut off. Piper, who is on top of a desk, smirks like she's in on it.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like she set them up.
She's glad it happened.
There's like a shot of like...
Now what are you gonna do? Like she taunts them.
Yeah. There's like... She taunts them, and there's a shot of Paige and Phoebe's head on the floor while they're bitching. It's like the ending of Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Do you remember where we parked the car?
Charm becomes them.
I feel like Death Becomes Them was the name of an episode, wasn't it?
No.
I'll look it up. I feel like it is...
2 hours later.
Yep, Death Becomes Them. That's the one where all of the innocents that they've failed to save haunt them or something. That's the one that was like, I think we reviewed this one already. But that's the one that was where the I slept with a zombie trailer.
Oh, okay.
I slept with a zombie?
Right.
I slept with a zombie.
Anyway. It's important that we cleared that up.
Yeah.
So now all of them are on the desk. Unclear how. I think they did come with someone else, but they're not in that scene afterwards. So it's just all of them on the desk together.
Either Zach's put them on the table or, I don't know, their heads rolled.
Yeah. They're all in there because that's how they can hide their bodies under the desk. And all of them are bitching at each other. Piper's like,
Yeah, good rescue attempt, idiots.
Fucking Piper.
So while they're being useful, Zachary has shapeshifted to pretend to be Paige. He's a telepath, so apparently he can use his telepathy to channel other people's powers, even though that's not how that works through the rest of the series.
No.
That's a little bit of a goof. So he's pretending to be Paige. I might have said Piper, but he's pretending to be Paige. He attacks... Pager. He attacks Gideon at the manor.
It's a good ruse. He comes in and goes, "Hi, I'm Paige." She's like, "Are you really?"
Not
no.
Really.
Oh!
He's an elder, and he goes out like a bitch.
Yeah, he sees
get, like, stabbed.
Paige turn into one of his students, and he's like, "Oh!" Like this big look of worry. Like it should have been like he transforms back into the student, and then Gideon immediately destroys him.
This is like an amateur. This kid is an amateur. That's why he's at magic school. And then like
stupid elder wiener.
And also, aren't elders already dead? What the fuck is he worried about?
Oh no!
Like, this kid's gonna get him?
It's a little boy.
Oh no! Not Zach the Lego maniac.
Yeah, that makes Gideon step on a Lego. Oh! All the magic in the world can't take this pain away.
Back at magic school, the girls do a makes it easy spell. It makes the horsemen turn into an explosion effect, and then they get their bodies back. That's the end of that.
That was so lazy.
It's so late. They don't even need their bodies for like Piper to do her hand explosion. They just go like fiddle-dee-dee, explode the horsemen.
Explode on me.
Explode on me. And then like their bodies explode back. How does that work? I don't know. Apparently if you kill the horsemen, their bodies reattach.
So lame, Charm. Why didn't you think of a good ending to the story?
Phoebe touches herself a bunch, and then they make a masturbation joke. Paige is like, you need a room?
Apparently she does.
Yeah, she does.
I'm gonna go fuck myself.
So while Gideon's being threatened by this little boy, oh no!
Like levitating a rattle at him. No!
No! And then he's like, oh yeah, Gideon, are you a chicken? Zachary does the villain speech. He wants to destroy the school to get revenge on Gideon because he didn't want to go to the school and be away from his friends and family. He just doesn't like school, and they act like this is a really meaningful thing. They're like, hey, wait a minute. The girls show up, and they're like, magic's cool, actually. You should embrace magic. And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Like magic's cool.
It's so cool. And he's like, I didn't think about that. I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry about getting that guy murdered.
Yeah.
He got an innocent murdered. The other people came back. That guy didn't.
No,
I mean, maybe he
dead.
was a murderer, but he did get someone killed.
Yeah. He's
Just
got
killing
blood.
a murderer doesn't make up for it.
Yeah, but then they're like, hey, why don't you go to detention forever instead? And he's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't get punished for it. They're like, oh, he went back home and maybe he'll come back to the school. It's like, this whole thing with Gideon was like he was trying to kill Wyatt for a greater good. And they're like, killing someone for a greater good is bad. Oh, but he can kill that murderer from the Headless Horseman.
Well,
he was a murderer. Who cares?
Gideon kind of winks as he's like, maybe he can come back. And then he holds up a book that says, like, The Joy of Cooking Zachary.
Call me a chicken, will you? So, at P3, the most important part of the episode happens. Ziggy Marley plays. That was good enough to advertise the episode
with really bad cutouts of heads.
Yeah, there's a bad cut, like a poster for like an advert for the episode, and then like there's a bad cutout of like Piper's head sideways, and then it's like special appearance by Ziggy Marley. You think he liked that? Like,
I think anyone liked that.
This was barely anything. It's just like at the very end, he plays a song, and it's not even really a great showcase, I don't feel like. The girls dance a little bit. Paige asks if Ziggy Marley was supposed to play there before, and then Piper says that he had to reschedule. I can only assume this is an in-joke about something, like maybe he was supposed to appear in another episode or something.
I think it's just an excuse for them to say who's playing.
Maybe.
Instead of going like, hey, Remy Zero!
Remy Zero! I don't know. It just makes it seem like it was a reference to something, but maybe you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Charmed fans, super fans, can let us know.
Mm-hmm.
So Paige is like, yeah, Zachary's fine now. He asked me not to bind his powers, so I didn't. He summoned the Headless Horseman and got someone killed. Maybe he doesn't get a choice in this.
Yeah.
So,
they're always idiots.
Yeah. She's like, but that does give me an idea. Maybe I'll bind Richard's powers because he's struggling with this magic thing. Maybe I'll do that for him. They do touch on that in a later episode. He does get consent, though. But I thought that was a decent storyline, how they ended that one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Phoebe explains her vision to them. And she's like, Piper, you shouldn't worry about a normal life because maybe we'll be getting a normal life. Lies! All that stuff won't happen anyway. Shut up. So we see in the future they got 1 million fucking kids.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, I think that's wrong.
It's all wrong.
Yeah, it's all wrong. Phoebe sees Chris, so they go into the back, and then she's like, hey, are you Piper's son? And we snore to the credits.
If they don't fuck, I'll never be born.
Yeah, this was I
don't have time. This is Phoebe.
We've talked about this before. This was a storyline that was written into the show after they found out that Holly Marie Combs was pregnant. There was some other idea for Chris. I don't know what, but it doesn't make sense with what they do now. But now he's a good guy. I don't know.
Change tracks on that one.
Anyway, what are your final thoughts on The Legend of Sleepy Halliwell?
Are you chicken? They're so annoying. I hate them in this one. Like, Phoebe the most, and then Piper. They're so unlikable. I don't know why you're supposed to care about these characters anymore. And then, like, they write in this thing that could have been interesting with the Headless Horseman. They make it lame and have no real conclusion.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage. The only interesting thing is seeing them when they were at least giving 2% of a crap about magic school.
This was the promise of the storyline they never quite delivered on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a typical season 6 crap, to be honest. I mean, it's funny seeing their heads cut off, but it's like at the very end, you see all of them. Piper has her head cut off through a lot of it, and that's kind of funny, but I mean, they're annoying. The Vision Quest is annoying. Piper's being annoying. Paige is minimally annoying, but they're being annoying to her, so it kind of leaks into her storyline. And it's also annoying seeing her, the lead into her magic storyline, magic school storyline, that was kind of interesting, and then they abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Harry Potter magic school is lame.
Yeah. But it's like, at least at this point, it seemed like they cared a little bit, but that goes away so quick.
Apparently, the CW/WB was trying for a while to do their own kind of Harry Potter knockoff thing, because when Sabrina the Teenage Witch went to the WB, they tried to do a spin-off show about a Harry Potter magic school. It didn't happen. So
just get it in anywhere.
I'm sure there were more attempts, but I know of that one.
The Chris Show.
The Chris Show. Cool.
Untitled Chris Project.
Anyway, let's wrap this up. Do you have a Margoyle or a Carman?
It's going to be a big shock, but Margoyle is Phoebe. Stupid Phoebe.
Yeah, double Margoyle. She sucks ass in this episode. Don't worry, Paige. I'll be fine. She wasn't worried about you.
And don't worry. You know where I am if you need me. I just came to get you.
I can't deal with this. I gotta have pointless vision.
Shut up. Hate you.
Yeah.
The Carman is going to be the Headless Horseman.
Headless Horseman.
For cutting all their heads off.
We're in sync on this one. It's gotta be Headless Horseman. Unsung hero of the episode.
Yeah. He tried to rid the world of the pure evil.
All right, well, that wraps up this episode, I think. So that got us in the holiday spirit, I think.
Yeah. The Hallie Day.
The Hallie Days. So anyway, if you enjoyed this podcast, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're enjoying this on. You can enjoy the podcast in audio form wherever audio podcasts are enjoyed. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Movie Nights the series and youtube.com/Phelan. You can find us on Patreon. You can vote on what episodes of Charmed Rewind we're going to cover next, or you can see videos ahead of time. All sorts of great stuff. I'm on patreon.com/Movie Nights, and Phelan is on patreon.com/Phelan. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing the podcast for us and for doing the amazing theme song. You can find him at Pretor Hunter on several socials and on YouTube, where he does Pokemon Let's Plays. What hashtag should we use?
Hashtag Halliwarts.
Hashtag no one was worried about you, Phoebe. Hashtag no. All right, that's the end. See you Charmanders next time. Bye.